Hello and welcome to TVC News at 6. We'll begin with the nationwide protest embarked upon by the Nigeria Labour Congress over the industrial action of unions of universities. The unions went on strike for different reasons, ranging from funding to welfare and non-payment of salaries and allowances. In Niger State, organized labor comprising of the Nigeria Labour Congress, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria occupied the Niger State House of Assembly for the first day as a step towards ending the prolonged industrial action.
We have to be fair with Asuu and other affiliate unions of the universities. What they have done a lot for the educational sector. And what they are demanding, it is not for selfish interest. They are demanding better condition. They are demanding better facilities in the university. There is no university that will function without facilities. You will end up bringing half-baked graduates.
In Kwara State, the NLC and its affiliate unions staged a peaceful protest from the Labour House in Ilori to some major streets in the state capital. The protesters called on the federal government to attend to the needs of the university workers and allow the university system to run seamlessly.
Our student university are at home, and it's a minus to us, to all the parents, not even the Asuu, not even the worker and Asuu University, to all the parents and to we the workers who happen to be their fathers. The next thing is we are going for 3 working strike action, 3 working day action, industrial action. After that, if nothing was done, then we are going to do another next meeting to know the next line of action.
Without education, insecurity will prevail all over, and that's what is happening in Nigeria. In Kwasu, we have a peculiar situation, and that is the issue of no subvention. This should point a signal to the state government. The issue of state subvention is no longer acceptable in Kwasu. We cannot live without subvention.
The situation is not different in Delta State. Members of the NLC took their protest to the government house of Sabah to ask the state governor to intervene in the impasse between the lecturers and federal government to end the close to 5 months industrial action. And from Delta to Enugu, where the organized labor and its affiliate unions with members of Nigeria tertiary institution unions have compelled the federal government to honor the agreement reached with university unions. The unions drawn from the different levels of tertiary education and the 4 unions in the university demonstrated their action in a road protest that started from NLC headquarters and terminated at the government house, Enugu.
Despite the fact that Asuu members have been very, very considerate, they negotiated with the federal government. It was a tripartite agreement duly signed. At the point of implementation, the federal government reneged and refused to implement that agreement.
Is it in terms of education? Our own children are at home, groaning. Why the president will proudly go overseas and take pictures with his children graduating in foreign universities?
Fundamentally, the bone of contention is that a government went into an agreement and have consistently and persistently failed to honor the same agreement.
As a government, we share in your concerns. We have always known that education is the foundation of society. But our job, just as we have pointed out, is to continue to engage the federal government to ensure that there is a peaceful and amicable resolution of all the contending issues between federal government and Asuu.
And still on the NLC protests in the southwest, members of the Nigeria Labour Congress and affiliate unions in the region staged a peaceful protest in solidarity with the Academic Staff Union of Universities. Rafi Hamid tells us more in this report.
In Akure, the Ogun State capital, members of the unions marched through major streets, chanting solidarity songs. Armed with placards with various inscriptions, the organized labor frowned at the federal government's inability to meet Asuu's demands. They took the protest to the governor's office, where they were addressed by government officials.
What we want from the federal government is to come back to the negotiation table and sign the agreement that they have.
Federal investment is not an Asuu matter. I want to say it's a Nigerian matter. We are talking of several generations of our children.
In Abeokuta, the protest was led by Emmanuel Bankole and supported by members of the National Association of Nigerian Students. They condemned the rate at which the federal government gives approval for the establishment of more private universities, while public universities are grossly underfunded.
Our affiliates are prepared to shut down this country if after this protest nothing is done.
In Ibadan, the labor unions took their rally to the governor's office at Agodi, where they were received by the deputy governor, Bayo Lawal, and other top government functionaries in the state.
If after now they don't do it and we don't see the seriousness in them, you know what the labor centers can do. They fly around, they do everything. We shut down the airport, we shut down the banks, we shut down the electricity, we shut down water.
These are our children. We do not want them to be out of school for 5-6 months that they have been out of school. It's not helping the economy.
The situation is not different in Osun State. In Oshubu, the organized labor marched from Ogoluwa to the State House of Assembly and the government secretariat, Abiri.
We don't want our children to stay at home any longer. We want the strike to end now.
It is not possible for us to join you to protest, but within us, we are with you.
The protesters say the time for Asuu to resume is now. They threatened to embark on a 3-day warning strike if federal government fails to accede to the demands of the striking lecturers after this 2-day protest. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Osogbo.
Meanwhile, President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, has disclosed that the union will embark on a 3-day national strike if the federal government fails to act after the ongoing protest. Mr. Waba, who spoke when he featured on TVC's program This Morning earlier today, says the nationwide protest is not in solidarity with the striking university workers, as they are part of the NLC and the union is directly involved. He also noted that several letters have been written before the decision to embark on the protest.
After this, we'll also proceed on 3 days national warning strike if nothing happens. And basically, before then, the strike then can also continue. 4 unions involved. All of them are also members of NLC, and their membership of NLC. So we are directly involved. It's not solidarity. We are directly involved as an organization, and that's why we thought that we should be able to lend our voice, but also to prompt for an action so that this issue can be resolved once and for all. At the level of strike, we wrote several letters. And importantly, also, we're able to try to intervene. But all these interventions have not been able to yield the desired results. And basically, time is still being lost.
Away from the protests, let's turn to electoral matters, where the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Ado-Ekiti has granted 2 applications raised by the Social Democratic Party and its candidate, Segun Oni, over the June the 18th governorship election held in Ekiti State. The first application was for substituted service of the originating petition on some of the respondents, and the second application is the inspection of some of the materials, devices, and documents that INEC used in the election. The tribunal granted the 2 applications, and it is expected that the respondents, which includes INEC, the All Progressives Congress, Abayomi Oyebanji, will file their defense to the petition in earnest. The lead counsel of the Social Democratic Party, Biodun Fashakin, says the order of the court was important for the applicant, as there are some other documents in custody of INEC which will be difficult to be procured by the SDP for the purpose of maintaining their petition.
2 applications before the tribunal. The first one was for substituted service of the originating petition on some of the respondents that we have found it difficult to serve ever since. And the second one is for inspection of some of the materials, of INEC. Some of the materials, documents, devices that INEC used in that election of 18th of June, 2022. And like you said, the tribunal graciously granted the 2 applications. So from now, the coast is clear for us to maintain our petition. And we expect that the respondent would, in earnest, file their defense.
And ahead 2023 general election, a group known as the Concerned Yoruba Muslim Scholars in Nigeria has advised Nigerians to choose competence and transformational leadership over religion. This follows reactions by some Nigerians over the choice of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu to pick a Muslim as his running mate. Olaide Oyewole reports.
The decision of the All Progressives Congress presidential flag bearer, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, to select Kashim Shettima, a fellow Muslim, as his running mate has sent tongues wagging. These has in turn led to several reactions, especially from the apex umbrella body of the Christians in Nigeria, to discredit the move.
In 1978,
at this press briefing, these concerned individuals are asking Nigerians to shun religious and political bigotry, but rather focus on the competency of those who can make positive landmarks in the country.
we seek a secure, politically stable, economically prosperous, and religious tolerant Nigeria. As we near 2023, we call on all well-meaning Nigerians to shun campaign of hate, bigotry, and focus on issues of concern for the betterment of people's welfare. It is by doing this that we can have a successful election and chart a new course for our beloved nation.
They urge religious leaders to be a source of moral guide to their followers instead of inciting them against one another.
Unfortunately, people who are supposed to be a moral guide for a united and prosperous nation have now become agents of the opposition party just for a miserable price.
The Islamic group says it is advocating a working Nigeria where all citizens, regardless of their ethno-religious leaning, will be free, confident, and prosperous instead of living in hatred. Olaide Oyewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
And as part of preparations for next year's elections, the national market leader, Folashade Tinubu, has ordered all markets in Lagos to remain shut on Wednesday, the 27th of July. Shade Tinubu, in a statement released by her media office, says this was done to encourage traders to go out and get registered for their permanent voter cards. While urging market leaders in the state to ensure compliance, she says anyone found flouting this order will be penalized. Thanks for staying with us. Let's turn our attention to the National Assembly, where President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the Senate to confirm Olukayode Ariwoola as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Olukayode Ariwoola, who is the most senior justice of the Supreme Court, has been acting as the CJN since Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed resigned as the head of the country's judiciary. The president's request was in a letter read by Senate President Ahmed Lawan on the floor of the upper legislative chamber at today's plenary. In the letter read by Senator Lawan, the president based his request on Section 231, subsection 1 of the Constitution. Tanko Mohammed resigned after 14 justices of the Apex Court accused the CJN of abandoning his responsibilities as the leader of the court. Let's turn to security matters now. A likely humanitarian crisis is looming in Takun and Usa local governments in Taraba State, where more than 40 persons have been killed in a fresh raid by bandits. Now, residents of 10 farming communities have deserted their homes seeking safety, while about 120,000 others have been rendered homeless. Correspondent Owolabi Adenusi filed in this report.
The bandits have now spread their attacks to Kujuan, Asik, Repanchin, Kutuko and Kusosa, while the entire Kwesita ward, Lisam 2, Yang 2 and Bika have been deserted. Villages in Takum and Usa local government areas have been turned to killing fields through coordinated attacks by suspected Fulani marauders who have now taken over some forests in the zone. Recently, 6 soldiers, while trying to prevent attacks on some communities, were killed in an ambush by the bandits. This has led to a desertion of many farming communities, with farmers forced into internally displaced persons IDPs camps as a result of security threats. They are now lamenting neglect by relevant authorities.
Nowhere to go. We cannot even find ourselves somewhere. There is no food store, there's nothing. Right now we are just crying, people are moving up and down, there is no eatable, the children are crying, no food.
The alarming rate of attacks has become a concern to the member representing the zone in the State Assembly.
There are complicities. The state government must set up a high-power commission of inquiry in order to unravel the mystery behind this crisis.
Stakeholders of the warring communities describe killing of their kinsmen as genocide, urging the federal government to take necessary action to halt it. The state government has now put mechanisms in place to curb the activities of the bandits as well as protect lives and properties of innocent citizens.
We are working and maintaining a credible synergy with other security agencies, specifically the military.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, the State Emergency Agency and other organizations and good-spirited individuals are urged to support in providing shelter, security, water, food, and non-food relief items to address the growing humanitarian needs of the IDPs.
In Edo, the State Police Command says it has rescued 3 kidnapped victims and arrested a suspected female murderer in the state capital, Benin City. The State Deputy Public Relations Officer, Jennifer Iwebu, said the rescued victims were traditional worshippers who were abducted on July the 25th, while the other suspect was arrested in Benin after she fled to Auchi. The rescued victims have been reunited with their families, while bushcombing is still ongoing. And elsewhere, Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety, Boboye Oyeyemi, has called on the newly appointed Corps Marshal, Daoud Abiu, to ensure he justifies his appointment. He stated this at a handover ceremony in Abuja. Maria Mohammed reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed a new Corps Marshal for the Federal Road Safety Commission following the retirement of Boboye Oyeyemi. Mr. Oyeyemi's retirement comes after spending 24 years in service and spending 2 terms as a Corps Marshal. He served in all major departments and commands of Corps and excelled in all of them. Boboye Oyeyemi is an advocate of policy continuity who saw the need to uphold and build on policy directions taken by his predecessor Osita Chidoka. During his leadership as a Corps Marshal, he unveiled the Last Man Standing project as well as the 20,000 staff housing scheme, making ownership for homes easier for all staff of the Corps. He also established the National Traffic Radio for the FRSC to monitor safety on the roads. Dignitaries from all walks of life were present at this ceremony to witness the transition. The newly appointed Corps Marshal, Daoud Abiu, appreciated the management of the FRSC and the presidency for the appointment. The outgoing Corps Marshal, on his part, is confident that he is leaving behind an amazing team of outstanding individuals who share the vision of the agency.
Of the Federal Road Safety Corps for your tireless efforts and support. I encourage you to extend the same tempo to my successor. The determined field operational workforce, rugged marshals, savers of lives on the highways, who work tirelessly to ensure that the vision, kidnapping celebration, were turned into reality.
Many Nigerians believe Boboye Oyeyemi has laid a good foundation for the cause and urge the acting Corps Marshal to continue from where he stopped.
The bigger job on his hand that Oyeyemi had. Oyeyemi had a bigger job than I had. And the new Corps Marshal, or the next Corps Marshal, will have a job more challenging than Oyeyemi had. So he had to roll up his sleeves and work hard.
Before his appointment, Dauda Biyu was the Deputy Commercial, Finance and Accounting of the FRSC. Mare Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
In other news, Nigerians have been advised to give equal opportunities to the girl child for them to compete favorably with their male counterparts. This call was made at a seminar organized by her Ability Hub as part of plans to take the message of empowerment of the girl child to schools in Lagos State. We have more in this report.
The right of the girl child is basically regarded as a human right in Nigeria. According to a report in 2014, female education has an important aspect on the development of a stable, prosperous, and healthy nation state, resulting in active, productive, and empowered citizens. Educating girls develops growth rates, encourages independence of the girl child, and reduces social disparities. It's on this premise that this symposium is held, to put a spotlight on the issues affecting the girl child in Nigeria.
As we are aware, in our basic social studies, there are different agents of socialization. You have the peer group, you have the church, that's religious centers, you have the home, you have schools, etc. So those are agents of socialization, and which some part of it could be lackadaisical, some part of it we've lost it.
The core object or objective of the Ability Hall is to emancipate the minds of the girl child, basically, because we have noted that there are stereotypes that create a fictional glass ceiling over the minds of our children, especially the female children.
With the theme Shattering the Class Ceiling, this non-governmental organization toured about 19 public schools in Shomolu in a bid to drive home its vision to empower and emancipate the minds of young schoolgirls to live their dreams. The students got mentored and given step-by-step rules to achieving set goals.
And it starts with things like this, and also from the home. A lot of people are doing advocacy at different levels. Some people tend to advocate to the parents to say, treat the girl child differently, but we are looking at it from the educational perspective and trying to catch them young at secondary school level.
If you look at what is going on in society today, there's so much moral decay in the society, and it starts from the home. Parents actually need to do a lot more to encourage a girl child in terms of self-confidence, who they are.
With this, it is believed that the girl child can thrive regardless of the circumstances thrown at them. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.